Hi, I'm Peter Rose, founder of Longwood Currency Trading. Is Forex trading safe? I get that question every now and then through folks who email me. And I think the real reason for the question is that you understand that there's a 90% chance that you're going to lose as a Forex trader. Well, as a trader, when you take a lot of risk, you make a lot of gain. But if you don't know what you're doing, then you lose. You have to look at the risk that's involved. You have to look at the liquidity in the market. You have to look at your measured ability through metrics, trading metrics or whatever, that indicate your skill level at dealing with the different facets of trading. In my Forex fast track course, for example, I teach what I call the life cycle of a currency position, which is entry analysis, position management, and exit methodology. And I came to that life cycle of a currency position because I was a software engineer for 33 years. And we use what's called the software development life cycle, the SDLC, which is a process that software engineers use to solve complex problems. I just took a rip on that and looked at the general Forex trading market and said, this is how you solve it. You got to know what to do on entry. You got to know what to do with a running position, and you got to know how to get out. Each one of those are simple if you have simple, clearly defined rules, not what the Fibonacci levels are, or the Bollinger Bands, or it's Tuesday, or the Fed is going to raise interest rates, or all that other horse shit that we as retail traders don't have to know anything about. We have to be aware of them. You know, if I'm driving a car, I need to know what a stop sign is, but I don't need to know how to make it. So when you're looking at the information out there that you're trying to consume to learn how to trade, you think that the more information that you have, the better off that you'd be. And therein lies the secret of, is trading Forex safe? It's safe if you understand the mitigation of risk. Once you understand the mitigation of risk, you know what to do to make money. Jesse Livermore said that, couldn't make it any clearer. He said that the only way to make money was to invest your cash, track your results, and learn from your mistakes. And that the only way you can learn what to do is lose. Because once you learn how not to lose, you understand how to win. So we really need to separate what we mean by safe from the underlying risk management that keeps us safe. In looking at trading currencies, we have this tremendous opportunity to make 60% a year, 90% a year on our money or whatever, or just getting started making 20% a year. If you're not making 20% against your risk, you should not be trading currencies, because you didn't get the basic understanding of how to trade currencies. Now, that's different than trading stocks and all that other stuff. If you just invest in stocks, maybe you'll get 12%. Of course, then there's the times when the bottom falls out and you lose 30 or 40%. I mean, in the last economic crisis that we had, the S&P index dropped 70%. Yo, if you were if you were relying on the income from your S&P investment, you were out of luck. And a lot of people were. Well, the real estate market crashed. I had a condo at the time, and it dropped, I think it was 35% in value, just like that. Like shit through a goose. As I said, I lost $1 million twice in my life. It took me 18 months to realize the losses to their full extent, and then 10 years to make that money back. So is it possible to make back losses? Yes, it is. But if the losses become so great that you can't make them back, you're screwed. You can't just say, oh, well, I can make that money back. Well, no, you can't. If you lose 10% of your account, yeah, you can make that back. You lose 20% of your account, you're going to have a tough time. If you lose 50% of your account, you're going to have to make 100% on the remaining balance just to get even. So if you failed and lost 50% of your account, you don't have the skills to make 100%. You're going to revenge trade. You're going to trade it at high leverage. You're going to trade because it's Tuesday and voodoo Fibonacci numbers and what some dumbass is talking about Bollinger Bands to you. And you'll lose the other 50%. We have to step back from the Forex market and look at it and say, what's this market all about? And as I've said in so many of my videos, and I teach in my Fast Track course, the market is order flow based on customers putting their orders for a currency exchange so they can buy material from from another country based on their currency. They sell their currency and buy the other country's currency. I want to buy engine parts. They're not doing it for shits and grins or trading. $7.6 trillion a day of true economic international currency exchange to make the world work. That's what the currency market is. It's huge. It's enormous. This is 2025 that I'm recording this, end of December 2025. $7.6 trillion a day. It dwarfs the combined value of daily trading of all the stock markets. It's huge. So it's safe. Well, if you trade a cross pair where you've got tremendous volatility and not a lot of order flow, you're dancing with the devil, unless you really, really know what you're doing. Probably 75–80% of the $7.6 trillion a day volume goes to euro dollar and pound dollar. Well, that's about 85% of 85% of that market cap is in those two currency pairs. Why? Because that's the biggest trade that's going on. Now, maybe China will come into it at some point, or maybe Japan's really high up. Any of the major pairs, the 6 major pairs, they all have a USD component because USD is the reserve currency right now of the world. And so we're kind of the dog. That might not be the case 10 years from now. But right now, that's the case. That's the game you got to play. Oh, I don't like the United States. Well, okay, then sell the dollar when it's time to sell the dollar. But your political opinion or how you feel or the creepy bumps on your back have nothing to do with trading currencies. The 6 major pairs are the ones that you want to trade to be safe. If you want to trade a cross or an exotic, go at it. If you want to trade at 100 or 200 or 500 to 1, go at it. You have no concept of risk management, and so how can the currency market be safe? How can you learn what's safe and what's not safe? Well, unfortunately, you can't read a book or you can't listen to what's going on these videos, because the key to success in anything is solving or answering 3 questions. What do I need to know? How do I implement what I know? And when do I do that? And the example I always give is about making a garden. If I'm going to make a garden, I got to know what a shovel is. I got to know what the seeds are and the ground and how and what water is. I have to know how to use the shovel. But I also have to know when to use the shovel, because if I'm using the shovel in the winter to plant the garden, it's not going to be a success. So all these people out there, all they're able to talk to you about is what to do and how to do it. They have no concept of the when component because they're not an educator. And they didn't learn from a basic bunch of knowledge. They learned by losing money and eventually learning what not to do, as Jesse Livermore said. If you have a lot of money to lose, then you can go about this willy-nilly track of trying everything, and you're going to lose a lot of money, but you just keep at it, and eventually you'll figure it out. Maybe. You may not be smart enough to do it, or you may be too smart. Some of the toughest students that I have are the engineers like myself. Why does this work? How do I do this? And how does this correlate with that? Shut up. It's simple. It's like baking a cake. It's a recipe. It's not a recipe as a system. It's a recipe as a process, and people don't understand the difference between a system and a process. So that's why you have all these people talking about London Open and golden crosses and fib level analysis and all this other horseshit. Is currency trading safe? Yes, comma, if you know what you're doing. And that's why I wrote the life cycle of or I developed the life cycle of a currency position and then talk about that in my fast track course. Because by writing that into course form, it solidified it for me. I still take losses because sometimes I just decide I'm better than the market and I go, and I'll lose 3%. I can make 3% back, but it might take me 4 days to make the 3% back. Well, that's 4 days that I've lost. So I lost the 3%. I spent 4 days making the 3% back. And now I've got to make up for that lost 4 days that I didn't make the 3% during that 4 days. So I've lost time. If you're a chess player, you know the importance of time, what they call the tempi. And the black pieces are a tempi behind from opening move, just because they have the second move. As currency traders, we're a tempi behind because of our understanding of what's really important to know in the currency market. That's why in the fast track program, I lay it all out so that it's simple. I've got a bachelor's in physics and almost a minor in math. So I know the educational process. I understand the educational process. I've taught karate and self-defense for over 50 years. I've been involved in martial arts for 50, it might be 59 years now. I don't know. It doesn't make any difference. I'm an old guy. But I know the educational process about the important stuff. Saving your life. Punching somebody in the face. Currency trading is the same thing. Karate and self-defense and fighting is that physical fear. In the currency markets, it's the financial fear that we have. And it's more a fear of ourselves that prevents us from being safe because we listen to these crap about Fibonacci's and all this other stuff and we think, oh, that sounds reasonable. Who the fuck are you to say that that sounds reasonable? You don't know enough to determine whether it's reasonable or not. You need to talk with someone who is reasonable and who's been around the corner and can give you the straight scoop. There's a lot of people out there that could do that for you. I'd be happy to chat with you. If you want to send me an email, we start a conversation. We'll get on a video conference and we'll talk about it. If you're having a particular problem, I can help you solve that, probably, at no charge. We'll just get to know each other. But then if you're having a process problem and you got to go back and lay the foundation so that you understand order flow and get rid of all these crazy voodoo shit like Fibonacci's and all this other stuff, then you might want to listen to what the course is laid out to do for you. Again, at no charge, I'll tell you what the course is, how it's laid out, the stuff that we cover. I mean, I could hand you the course, it wouldn't do you any good. The reason the course is so good is because I teach it. You can't learn algebra by reading a book. And you can't learn currency trading by reading a book or a manual or taking an online course. You have to be in a position to get feedback to real-time questions that you have as you're reading through the manual. You're going to have questions that are different as a 24-year-old than a 54-year-old would have. They might not even be questioning that because their experiences. Yeah, I get that. And that's what happens when I'm working with people is the older people who have been through some life and stuff, they get the risk management right away. Boom. The 20-year-olds, the 24-year-olds, up through about 30 or so, you're having a tough time with that because you want to try everything and you don't want to settle on one thing because you're afraid you might miss something. FOMO is what they call it, right? Trust me, when you look at the fast track program and you get involved in it, I take all the information that's out there and I present to you the relevant information that you need. And there's only about 30 pieces of relevant information that you need in order to construct a trading plan that's viable for you and that would be safe. Now, just talking with me, if you're an experienced trader and you've done trading plans before and you've tried different systems and all that other stuff and you're not having the success that you feel that you should have, just by having a video conference with me, I may be able to help you put all that together. And then you're going to be fine at no charge. But if you need to take a course, well, we could talk about that. But I'm not, again, as I say in every video, I'm not trying to sell you a course because it's just me. And I don't want to be sitting at my desk talking about currency trading to people who really aren't going to do the work necessary. Is Forex trading safe? Yep, it sure is. Based on all the conditions that I just went through in the last 20 minutes. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.